Good evening, guys, and happy Sunday to all of your sunshiny faces. It was weird not going to Jewel, or to any of the grocery stores, because a lot of times, especially lately, for some reason, we seem to have been going on, on Sunday. So, we didn't end up going today, and I actually ended up kind of sleeping in because I didn't really need to help with anything upstairs. My dad was just working on, putting up the insulation, and he has all of the, roof beams in between those done on the slanted roof, except I think 3 or 4 slats kind of still left, but he was, it took him a little longer in some points because of the electric stuff that was up there, and then also too around where the lights were and things like that. So most of them were pretty easy, but a couple of them were a little bit harder just because of that. So but he was able to get, like I said, a ton of that done, and then he pretty much finished the one wall over by where the window that we just got installed, finished that. So he kind of just needs to finish up the overhead insulation, and then we have to wait on the other 3 windows being replaced before we can finish with that insulation. And then once that is done, we're ready to just move into the drywall and to the floors, and then once that's done, we'll be done with the upstairs, which is pretty cool. So it's taken, again, too, just a little longer, because again too, we kind of do have to wait for certain things to be done before we can move on to other stuff, and we're also kind of waiting, after the drywall or the insulation's done, we're just waiting entirely on having the guy that's doing the windows, the insulation, or the windows, drywall, and floors. He's doing all of that. So obviously he can't be working on the same thing at the same time either, and he's not going to be able to, like I was saying, work on some of this stuff without having other, other parts of it done. He's not gonna, he could put the drywall up before the windows are up, but it doesn't make any sense because it's easier to do when the drywall's not up yet and the insulation's not around it. So once that's done, then we can completely finish the insulation on that wall. But like I said, as of right now, we're kind of at the point where we're just there's not much for me to do either. So I just kind of focused on some regular just house stuff getting done, laundry, and I ended up cleaning the guinea pig's cage today, and I also, which I did pretty much by myself today because my mom wasn't feeling well. Normally I'll, if we clean the guinea pig's cage, I'll take them out, she'll hold them or something like that, and then I'll clean the cage or whatever. And so we'll kind of switch with that, or we'll have Jack help. But today she wasn't feeling too good, and Jack was mowing the lawn, so I was like, I'll just do it myself. I just got their pen out, put them in there, and then I let them run around for a long time. Even after I was done cleaning their cage, I was like, you guys just go have some free time, and then just sat in the living room, watched TV, and just let them hang out and run around and experience, getting some freedom on the ground. So they ended up doing that, but like I said, I ended up cleaning that out. But my mom wasn't feeling that great today, and then on top of that too, though, she was supposed to make dinner for tonight. She was actually, I don't know what she was supposed to be making for dinner tonight, but she had chicken that was defrosted, and then she was like, well, I'm not gonna be able to cook, because she wasn't feeling good. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll make dinner. And I was like, I was trying to think what we had on hand. Thankfully, we had onions, we had bell peppers, and we had chicken fajita seasoning, and obviously the chicken was defrosted, so I was like, hey, I guess we'll do that for dinner. Which ended up working out. And the thing is that I did it recently, and I fried it inside. My dad did it on the Blackstone, and what felt like half the amount of time. I don't know if it was just because I wasn't doing it, so it felt like it went faster, but he had all of it done super quickly, and and it wasn't burnt. So like I said, it was, like I said, really just fast. After I had everything cut up, he just had everything, and all the, for what I could tell, all the what's it called, the vegetables and stuff like that were really tender, and he left everything on for the same amount of time. It says even in the directions that you should cook the chicken first and then cook the vegetables or whatever, but he just cooked all of it at the same time on the Blackstone. It all came out done at the same time and was all you know, like I said, like tender, and the chicken was all done and everything. So I was like, wow, that's pretty awesome. That, you know, because like I said, the time before when I did it inside, I was like, okay, I gotta cook this, and then I had to cook, you know, the stuff separate and everything. But nope, I just, you know, like I said, diced up the chicken, and then cut up the bell peppers and the onions and tomatoes too, and then ended up, like I said, he threw that all in there, and then just had it with tortillas and like cheese and stuff like that. And that was what was dinner for tonight, which, like I said, was pretty easy and simple, just because, again, too, we had all of it. But yeah, so again, I ended up making that though for dinner. You know, I did the prep work for it, my dad grilled it, so thankfully, or, you know, I guess cooked on the Blackstone, fried it on the Blackstone. I don't know, what, how do you, like, I guess it's frying if it's on the Blackstone, I don't really know. But either way, he ended up, you know, like, I didn't have to do the whole thing, which was kind of nice. And it's tough too, because like when it's like, you know, I don't know about it ahead of time. Like if I had known like my mom wasn't feeling good, like I knew she wasn't feeling good, but I didn't know like she wasn't like gonna cook, like wasn't feeling like that good. And so then that's when I was like, well, if I just would have known earlier, I could have just grabbed like an extra freezer dinner, or maybe something that I was planning on making during the week, and just switch days around with her. Like, you know, again, like switched Wednesday that I was gonna make something with the day, you know, like today. But since I didn't know, I couldn't, like, you know, defrost any of my stuff ahead of time, or even to just like, you know, again, thrown something or gotten something together for like, you know, again, whatever for dinner tonight. So since I didn't know, but and because I knew she had the chicken already defrosting, so I was like, I don't want to let it defrost for like, you know, or not defrost, but just sit in the fridge for like a couple more days after that, because that's probably not going to be good for very long. So that's why I was like, let's just try and figure out something we can do with this, and like I said, worked out well. So again too, I need to get back on track a little bit too with like this week's stuff, because like last week, I don't know, I kind of wasn't feeling the best, weirdly enough, last week, and then now my mom's not feeling the best this week. But like I think I was telling you guys, like even on Monday, like it just, I didn't feel like I didn't have much of an appetite. Like I just kind of felt a little off, and like, but I never got like sick or anything like that. It was just I felt a little off, and like, you know, especially not having the appetite was what made me be like, wow, something seems, like I said, off. And so again though, but I felt fine like ever since, I think it was like Thursday actually, was like, oh, I feel pretty much fine again. But it was like Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for sure I was not feeling very well. But I need to, like I say, kind of get back on track this week with getting things done again too. More dishes and laundry and editing and uploading and stuff like that for this week. But the other thing too that I didn't share with you guys in yesterday's vlog was actually me and my mom went out to the vegetable garden yesterday, and we ended up picking a handful of things. We got a couple of different peppers. One was like a not a salsa, like I guess kind of like a salsa pepper, not like, it wasn't like a super spicy, it wasn't like jalapeno spicy, but I guess it's a little bit spicier. I think it's actually called a salsa pepper maybe, or something like that. So again too, it adds a little bit more spice, whereas it's not too spicy, and it's not like sweet like a bell pepper. So we had a couple regular like sweet peppers, like more bell peppers, and I added that actually to dinner tonight. And then I have one other one that I'm going to probably save and use for maybe something I cook myself for this week, because I'm really, me and my dad are probably, and I'm surprisingly, although Jack doesn't like seek out anything spicy, he will eat spicy foods too. I just think he doesn't like go out of his way. Like he's not like, oh, I'll take like, you know, medium salsa instead of mild salsa. Like my mom, sometimes even mild salsa is too much for her. Like she does not like spicy stuff. Like I don't like so much super like hot like spice. I think medium's like perfect. Mild to me just doesn't taste like anything. It just tastes like you added a bunch of vegetables together. Like there's really no spice to it. So like I said, personally I like to, most things that I like to have more at like a medium consistency. But I don't like anything that's like too hot, because then I just feel like it kind of ruins the food too, like if it's too spicy. So weirdly enough, if it's like salsa and chips, like I don't mind if it's like hot, but if it's like I'm mixing like something else and I have more flavors in the food, I don't want it to be overpowered by like something super spicy. So then I'll normally go to like more medium, but like I said, my mom cannot even handle that. She is like, nope, I have to have mild for like everything. So like I think even to just like I think the pepper, like they showed a little tag, I want to say it was like 2 like hot peppers compared to like out of 5 or something like that, and it was like, oh, like a little spice or something like that, but I think it was not even like as spicy as like a jalapeno. So I was like, oh, this would probably be really good, like even if my mom wanted to try it. But it was said like salsa, like pepper, which makes me think it's like not that spicy. So anyways, like I said, I'll try that out and see. But I'm actually kind of happy because normally all we get is like bell peppers, and when we went to my aunt and uncle's house, my uncle has like all of these spicy peppers. I didn't really know that he was like super into like spicy foods, but he had like, don't know if it was like a ghost pepper or like something like that, but he was growing like a lot of like spicy peppers. And like, you know, again, even to like, you know, the jalapenos and stuff like that. Like, I mean, he had a lot of jalapenos, but then like even like, again, some other ones that were much spicier than even that. I think he was saying, or he's used them in the past to make salsa and stuff like that, even if they weren't ones that he grew, but they had a ton of them and theirs look so good. And so I don't know really what the problem is with our peppers. They seem like they don't do that well, but I also think we don't grow spicy peppers and we try bell peppers too much. And you know, when you see a bell pepper in the grocery store, they're like gigantic. Like bell peppers normally, or like sweet peppers are normally a little bit smaller. I feel like when you grow them yourself, they're normally not that ginormous. But like I said, especially when you're growing them yourself. But like, again, to spicy peppers normally, like again, to like hot peppers and, you know, like jalapenos and like poblano peppers, like that kind of stuff, normally they're about the size of like what our bell peppers grow into. And like I said too, I think that's just, I don't know too if it's because the growing season that's here, like what, but like we either haven't had success with peppers or they only turn into about that size like of pepper plant. So, or maybe too because we planted them late, so we've never had a really good like big bell pepper harvest. But I feel like even too, the one that we planted that, like I said, was that salsa pepper, like it was like regular, like good size, like almost the size of like a jalapeno, which makes me think that that was, you know, like those are more the size that the peppers are supposed to be than like those, like I said, giant bell peppers that you end up getting from the grocery stores. Just like I said, we've not had success of getting that size from our vegetable garden before, but I'd like to do more of that because personally, like I said, myself, I like a little bit of spice in some of my stuff. But if we can find more like peppers more like that, I probably wouldn't mind, you know, having those and being able to use them for, again, like salsa and stuff like that, because we're growing, especially right now, we're growing like 1 million tomatoes, and every single year we have like tons and tons of tomato plants, and so we always need extra use for, again, to sauce, like, you know, spaghetti sauce or like, again, salsa, that kind of thing. But I'd love to do salsa if we had homemade, you know, like in homegrown, like, you know, some type of salsa peppers as well. But yesterday in the garden, again, we ended up picking a handful of those. We picked a couple peppers, we picked some sweet peas. None of our green beans are like ready right now, but we did pick some sweet peas, like sugar snap peas, and then we also had I'm trying to think what else, a couple tomatoes, and I think there was, oh, carrots. My mom actually did cut up or like pull out some good sized carrots. Normally when we get the carrots, they're like baby size, that's as big as they get. We actually had like full size, like regular, like you know, I want to say baby carrots and adult carrots, but they were bigger, you know, like full grown sized carrots, that we ended up pulling out of the garden for more like, again, soups and like that kind of thing that you can do with those. And then I'm trying to think, what else did we pull out? Like I said, a handful of things. As of right now, where like stuff is looking pretty good and everything's like flowering too. But I was telling you guys too how, like, even compared to like my aunt and uncle said that they planted their stuff on Mother's Day weekend, we planted ours almost a month later. So I'm expecting to get things like a lot later. But I also pulled another zucchini. So far we've had 3, I think, like small zucchini. They've been no more than like a couple, not a couple, like probably about like that big or so. So they've been smaller zucchini, whereas like last year I was getting like, you know, over foot long zucchini, which are ridiculous, and they're like too tough even to eat. So, like, you really want them when they're little because then they're a lot more tender. They're better for the grill. They're just like a lot better for a lot of things. But last year I kept not being able to find them, and like, you know, I wouldn't go out to the garden enough, and then when I did, I'd find, you know, like I said, over foot long zucchini, and I was like, oh my gosh, more zucchini bread. So this year, since I've been out there so far, like I said, kind of more consistently, I've been getting them when one they're smaller, and again we can use them more for like the grill and like that kind of thing. So either way, again, I think my mom took a picture, but I didn't take any. I wanted to. I haven't so far. I haven't taken any pictures of anything that we harvested from the garden this year, whereas like last year I took a ton because I can't remember what else we ended up grabbing. But I think she also picked a couple little beets as well, but they were actually like real little, like not like little beets, not compared to the size that she picked before. So anyways though, and also too, all of our herbs are doing, like, for the most part, pretty phenomenal. I think the cilantro is not looking too great, but other than that, the basil is like ginormous. It is huge. It is beautiful. I kind of want to like cut a lot of it off and give it to people so it can keep growing, because I don't want it to go to flower, like to seed or to flower. So I would love to like find some, you know, like give it to neighbors, or, you know, just, I mean, we can dehydrate it, but still a lot of basil even still to like dehydrate and stuff like that. But like I said, I'd love to find some other use for basil as well, because we just have a ton of it, and we planted a couple basil plants. We also have purple basil, and like I think we have another variety, and then we have a second one to the big one that we already have as well. So we've got like either between like 4 or 5 like basil plants, which is a lot of basil. My mom actually thought that one of them that she planted, or that she bought, wasn't a basil plant, and it turns out it was a basil plant, and she just didn't realize it was a different variety. So that's how we ended up with like another one on top of it. But anyways, I will see you guys in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye guys.